So, Chris, first of all, obviously a Monday game. Has it been a bit of a strange weekend watching everyone else play and, waiting to see where you end up?
Yeah, it is. We trained yesterday morning, lunchtime, and sat in the analysis room watching our local guy, old Jeff. Had an afternoon with Jeff. Usually my afternoons with Jeff are in a pub when that happens, but no, afternoon in the video analysis room, and yet again the weird and wonderful world of the Championship. Watching results coming in, some that that maybe you expect, and the majority that you don't, and just I think that just shows you how difficult the division is, and how tough it is to get a result. So different type of week. Obviously, the setup of the week's been changed a little bit, and we're travelling over today, preparing tomorrow, and doing the right things in what's going to be a really tough fixture for both clubs.
It's an exciting one, though, isn't it? I mean, obviously where you both are in the table, and I know Blackburn lost last time out, but the way they've been going as well, it's it promises to be a good game.
Yeah, I think both teams are up there on merit. I've got an awful amount of respect for Tony. I've known him a long time. I played against him actually in '87, and
was that the 6-0?
No, I think it's just after that. I think it's one at Bramall Lane actually. Trying to forget about that. Thanks. But no, he's for me. Tony is a proper football guy, from a career point of view, from a coaching point of view, and most importantly from a character and a man. There's quite a lot of bluffers in the game. There's quite a lot of spin merchants in the game. Quite a lot of people that give out this image and and try and whether it's con men or bluffers or spinners. But I don't see Tony as one of them. I think he's a real good guy. He says it as it is. If his team's not been very good, they've not been very good. If his team's been good, they've been good. If he feels that there's been situations that he needs to talk about, refereeing decisions or whatever, he'll say it openly and honestly. He had a fabulous career as a player. His managerial career is so impressive as well, and yet again, not surprised that he's been obviously at Blackburn Rovers for a few years and had an opportunity of moulding his team, and in that, you have different challenges ahead of you, financially challenged, sometimes losing your best players, trying to bring players in on loan, which he's done successfully, trying to reinvent players, spending money at the right time, I'm a huge Tony Mowbray fan, and I'm not surprised that his team is going well this season. Went to watch him on Wednesday at Hull. Again, a typical Championship game. Very very even early on. All get the noses in front. Blackburn Rovers come roaring back and possibly should sort of get themselves back on level terms and take the lead, and second goal goes in, and it's a difficult evening for Blackburn, but they'll see this as an opportunity of bouncing back. Tony will understand with his experience as much as I do that one win doesn't derail a season, and they've got some good players, and I think it's going to be a really good game, and one obviously it's going to be heavily covered on Monday night.
And bearing in mind you've said that how well you know Tony, and you'll know he is a genuine hero of this football club. Did you speak to him at all before he took the job, just about what was in store?
No, I didn't. I knew enough about the football club myself. There has been times where I have done in terms of I'm not really close to Tony. I just know him. Seeing him twice a year. Home and away for a couple of years, and at the odd dues and the odd LMA dues and get-togethers that you do that. But I think a genuine guy from a bluffer and a spinner, and Tony's top draw genuine guy. So No, but I didn't. Sometimes you do, in terms of when you speak to people about players, when you speak to people about various jobs or whatever. That over the last 20 years, I have sort of canvassed an opinion, and I would certainly go to Tony if I needed it, but I knew enough about the club not to.
Now, what Tony's got this season is a striker in red-hot form in Ben Brereton Diaz, but of course he doesn't have him tomorrow. Now, I know they're not a one-man team, but any team is going to struggle, aren't they, if you take that number of goals out the side?
Oh, well, I think, we're just talking about honesty in terms of an assessment, and I think if I had a 20-goal striker in our ranks and we lost him, I would say that's going to hurt us. So he'd rather have him in than not have him in, and of course, but it's how you deal with that. It's how you deal with certain situations, how you deal with certain situations, leading up to the game, and in the next 20 games as well, through injury, through suspension, through lack of loss of form, through maybe a transfer in the next sort of 10 days. Who knows what's round the corner. And it's how you adjust and how you adapt, and I think the group will be working. How would I look at it? I would say, everybody's thinking that we're a one-man team. We need to show everybody that we're not, and we need to do what we need to do, work a little bit harder. Talk about us as a team. This is how we got here as a team, and if somebody gets injured, somebody misses out through suspension or whatever, we have to prove that we're the whole sum of everything is good enough to win games of football and keep going on what is still an incredible run that they're on since obviously the Fulham game. They've been on an outstanding run, and as I said at the start, I wouldn't expect one result against yet again and I said it regarding the sort of the Reading situation. Hull City are sort of in and around sort of the bottom third of the league, and they beat Blackburn, they go Bournemouth and get a result. It's, this is how the league is and what it can do to you. So there's no embarrassment in losing games. I think everybody talks about how you react, and I'm sure that they'll come flying out the traps on Monday night.
You've had a week now to work with Folarin Balogun after his cameo appearance last weekend. How is he settling in?
Yeah, great. Getting to know Flo, really integrated well into the group, popular boy, and just look at his smile. Every day when you come into training, he's delighted to be here. He adds to a really good group of forwards. Delighted with the forwards at the moment. They're all contributing. Even the skipper who came on Saturday contributed. We've had a bit of a laugh and a joke about. He's good. He's pushing. Got a lot of games coming up. So they're not all going to play 90 minutes in every game. Obviously they can't. But it's especially at the top of the pitch, how we get a result through different combinations. And I'm liking the look of the five at the top of the pitch that I've got at the moment.
I know you can't miss what you never had, but obviously Riley McGree's arrived and he's got called up for Australia. Is that a bit of a shame for you, short term?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but I spoke to the national team manager. I had a really good conversation with him. He's delighted that Riley's in the Championship and playing at this level. He knows a lot about the boy. And they've got 2 World Cup qualifiers, so I'll never stop anybody going and representing the country. I think there's a lot of pluses. There's a few cons on it. Obviously the travelling and you always want them to come back healthy, which obviously you're always a little bit fingers crossed and closing your eyes and hoping for the best. I've had to do that now for a number of years, and it'll be the same now with Flo going away, with England maybe, and obviously Paddy and Andy's been away and a couple of the others, and it'll be the same with Riley. So quicker gets back the better. Hopefully healthy, and he's had a couple of games under his belt, and that'll benefit him as well, because previously he's not played. I think it was the 18th of December the last time he played.
Now, tomorrow night, that end away to your right, I forget if it's the Darwin end or the Blackburn end, but it's going to be chock full of Borough fans again. You've sold nearly 9,500 for Old Trafford on a Friday night in the FA Cup. The backing you're getting,
it's astonishing.
You've got to love that.
It's astonishing, and it sort of it makes you feel quite humble, really, that they're coming to sell out in 24 hours as well. This is not a long drawn out affair that there's a few hundred tickets left, and who can we give them to or give them away to? There's an incredible clamour to watch this football team, and the players should realise that and recognise that, and I think they do. The local boys, Dale and Tav and the boys that have been here for a few years that come through the academy. Paddy's been here. They recognise it. They talk about it. And there's no issue for me for them talking about that as well and talking about the Man United game. They know that the main event is Monday and then Saturday before. But they're exciting times, and as I said, humbling experience for everybody that we've sold out 9,000 tickets on a Friday night live on ITV. If there's ever, I think that a few Premier League clubs would do that, let alone Championship clubs. So I think that just shows you what sort of interest is building, and they've built that. The players have built that with the performances, and it's now key that they keep that going and show that consistency. They've set a high bar. We're not always going to reach that, but if we get close to it and get above it now and again, then hopefully that'll be consistent towards the second part of the season, and I'm sure it was. And I think I've talked about it openly. Stoke, near enough a full away end. Huddersfield near enough a full away end. Sheffield United would have been and will be now still. 30,000 at home. The home games as well. Away games selling out in a heartbeat. Blackpool as well. Forgot about that. How can you forget about Blackpool?
So will forget Blackpool in a hurry.
Yeah, so that'll be there for a long time, and we're trying to create memories, but we'll only do that by playing in the manner that we're playing in and keeping together. And as I said, we're gonna, there's gonna be the results like Blackburn did. They've been on a terrific run, 9 or 10, 9 out of 10 wins or whatever it was, and they get a defeat, and it's important that which I'm sure they will if we do, have a down day and not get a result, that people look through it a little bit more consistently and see what's happening and keep coming and supporting. And I think they recognise the effect it has on the team, and it certainly will do on Monday night at home to Coventry, and certainly at Old Trafford on Friday night.
Just lastly, how is everyone? What sort of shape's the squad in injury wise?
Yeah, great. As I said, we had the situation with the COVID. It's still on red alert with that. We were incredibly fortunate that in a way that they all came at once. It wasn't out of design as maybe a couple of people think. We weren't huddling together and all breathing on each other and having a big circle and a big scrum. I think we're not bad at his job, but we're not that good that we can all of a sudden sort of stick it on 20 odd people at once. So we were quite fortunate, and obviously with the cup game leading up to it. But we're all healthy, but we're still on red alert. In terms of there's still sort of 4 or 5 players that have not had it, that we need to make sure that we keep smart and do as much as we possibly can, as we have done and we always will do, to keep healthy.
Good luck tomorrow. Thank you.
Take care, Mark. Cheers.
Lee from Look North.
Hi, Chris. You all right?
Hey, Lee.
You mentioned there about momentum and the run that Blackburn have been on. I mean, that's something that you will identify with the run that you're on as well at the moment. How difficult is it to not get carried away when you seem to be sort of, fighting your way through the games, plenty of last-minute winners? But, is it difficult to keep a lid on that, or do you just kind of go with it?
I think you've got to go with it. You'd rather have it than not have it. I've personally been in situations where it's the other way around, and you're desperately trying to get out of it, and you just want to keep it going, and that'll be the key to what it happens. It's not going to last forever, so let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy the run. as I said regarding the Reading game, whatever the time the goals have come, if we'd have scored 2 in the first minute, nobody said a word. We scored 2 in the last 5 minutes. That's it. Always comes that clamour, last minute winners, but the attitude of the group is great. They want to go and win games of football. They want to play on the front foot. There are times, as we've talked about in this division, that not embarrassed that teams will have part of the game, and you've got to expect that. And no doubt Monday there'll be, part of the game where we're under the cosh and how we deal with it, and there'll be part of the game where we're hoping to put them on the back foot, and how do they deal with it? And I think that's just part and parcel of a game of football at Championship level or Premier League level, however you want to deal with it. But we want to keep it going, sure we do, and we want that feeling, whether it's at 5 o'clock or whether it's at 10 to 10. We've come off the pitch and we've earned something out of the game through our performances, but most importantly our attitude.
Dale Fry was saying the other day, wasn't he, about the spirit amongst the squad at the moment and how good it is. Clearly, that's improved by the run that you're on. Did you think you would get that kind of togetherness as quickly as you've managed to get it when you first arrived at the club?
Well, it's not something that's come by chance. It's worked at. I'm a huge believer in that. I think if you look at the characteristics of all the teams that I've managed, they've all had that togetherness. That's something that I don't ask for. I demand, and there's different personalities in there. Of course, when you win games of football, it helps. It gets tested when you don't, and that's the key. What's your everybody talks about team spirit when you win games of football, but what's it like when you don't win games of football? And I think that's the ultimate test. And I don't want to have that test at the moment, of course, but it will come around when we lose, and it's how you recover. But they're a good group. They are together. We've not had to work overtime on the attitude of the group. It's something that I've got to say was left in a good place. The characters of the team, the likes of Sol Bambas and Lee Peltier's, with the younger guys, the Tavs, the Jonas, and then you got your sort of middle group, you sort of Johnny Howsons and Paddy's and Crooksay. So it's a good group, different characters of course, but they together and I think they possibly understand now, how I look at the group as a team. Of course, those individuals at times have got to produce big moments, whether it's a goalkeeper, whether it's a centre half making a block, or a big header, or a midfield player, supplying a fabulous ball like Crooksy did at Huddersfield, or a great finish like we have done. They're all required to produce their best performances and big moments, but as always, the message is that if we are going to be successful, it's going to be always about the group, and they have to adhere to that. There's no half measures on that.
And you're entering a real crucial period in the season now, aren't you? With Blackburn Monday, you've got Coventry, you've got QPR. These are all teams that are in and around where you are. Do you ever get tempted to look further ahead and start looking at, okay, well, if we get X amount of points from that's going to put us in that position, or do you just try and literally the cliche one game at a time?
No, it's a boring one, but it's impossible to look beyond the next game because of what the league's about. Like I said, sat watching it yesterday afternoon in the analysis room, and you're looking, and I don't think I think it would have been impossible to predict those results in the Championship. And I think that's how it's going to be right the way through. So we keep knocking the games off, and we keep trying to go for 3 points. If we can't win, we don't get beat, and we keep adding to that total, keep in the mix. I think it's going to be hopefully a very, very interesting, last 6 to 10 games. And if we're there and thereabouts in that period, it's because we've been consistent in the next sort of 10 games, and that's what we're looking to do. Bounce back from defeats if we do have them. I'm sure we will do, and disappointment, and be respectful, and apply ourselves to the next game if off the back of a win like we have done. You know, we're not going into this game because we've had some good results and Blackburn lost on midweek thinking this is a comfortable game. That's just a nuts attitude to have, and we'll never have that. Just been in the game long enough, Lee, to know that, you know, complacency and arrogance really hurts you in this game, and it's not qualities that I enjoy and I look for in my team, and I'm sure we'll be guarded against that.
Lovely. Cheers, Chris.
Cheers, Lee. Thank you.
Craig.
Hey, Craig.
Morning, Chris. We spoke to Dale Fry this week, Chris, and he spoke about how much he's enjoying the style of play at Borough and this playing out from the back. And I just wondered, in your time that you've been here so far, how impressed have you been with, in particular that back three, how much they've kind of adapted and took on board your kind of style of play?
Yeah, we want to build from the back. We want to dominate possession. It's important that we have technically good players, characteristics of a footballer, physically got to be able to handle challenges, which I think Dale did against Andy Carroll. It was a great test for him, even though Andy scored and he possibly, we could have done a little bit better with it. It was a fabulous header, and he's a player of high quality and physical presence. So Dale was up against him all afternoon. Really didn't give him a lot to feed off. So that was a challenge. Tactically different challenges. This game on Monday poses and how they play, and we want technically good footballers. And one of the things that I look at is, can you handle the ball? Can you play? And we don't want to take risks at the back. I think there's a balance, but we want to start attacks off from the back and having players all over the pitch be comfortable in possession, and I think if you look through the team, all the players are comfortable in possession and can handle the ball.
Yeah. Just on transfers, Chris, last week you mentioned the 4 players who you've made available. One of them has since left. Is there any update on the other 3?
Yeah, I think there's ongoing talks with Kieran, the players' representatives, and the players and potential clubs, and so we're, obviously it's coming to the back end of the window, so outs are important. I don't know if it has been talked about, and I think I've touched on it. Is that, of course, we have to balance books, so. And one of the words that I used at the start was being smart in terms of the outgoings and the incomings matching up. We've obviously invested in a permanent in Riley, which we're delighted to, even though, as we've talked about, numbers got exaggerated out of, I don't know why people do it, but they do. They get a little bit precious because that player hasn't signed for them. We certainly haven't blown anybody out the water. We've got a great deal for a young player that will grow with us, and delighted that we've got him. And then obviously the 2 young players, as we've talked about, I do 100% believe that they've come from for footballing reasons, and their club wanted them to come to us for footballing reasons, and so did they. They did. And obviously off the back of that, we've got to balance that up, and decisions have to be made, and players in the time depart, and it's not personal, and these things happen. So I'm sure that over the next 6 days, 6 days left. Is it 6 or 7 days left to the end of the window? I don't know where it is.
10, I think.
Is it? Oh, we've got a bit longer to sign a few more players then, mate. We're all right. So yeah, we're still trying to improve as well. And interesting as well. You never know. As I said, there's been talk about a couple of our players, which for me, it doesn't bother me. If there is talk of players here, I think that just shows that they're doing well, and they're good players, and they're attracting interest. So we'd always rather have that as well.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned there, you kind of already touched on me final question on, you are still looking to bring players in. Is it kind of one which is attached to the outgoings? Will it need some players to go out before you can bring more in? Or is it more a kind of deal by deal basis and if it works financially?
Yeah. I mean, there's ongoing. I think, the Neil Bowser and Steve have been very supportive of what we've done. We've had the additional bonus of a cup tie at Old Trafford, and I've not banged on the owner's door and saying I don't work like that, but I think that's helped, and obviously it will do through financial fair play and being accountable for our finances in obviously it's very relevant at the moment of what's happening in the Championship, and I don't think, regardless of anything that's happening, we can't get away from the fact that everybody's got to run a tight ship, and we're trying to do that here, so of course, and I don't want a bloated squad as well. I don't want to. I want to be managing sort of 23, 24 players with 3 goalkeepers that really gives us real good competition for place, balance, left and right footers. Of course, there's going to be a few players in there that are going to play a couple of positions, but a real good balance and good options, and that's what we're trying to achieve. And I've said all along, hopefully when the window shuts, we'll be in that'll be us, a lot better place than when it opened, and I believe personally that we're well on the way to having that window.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Chris. Good luck tomorrow.
Cheers, Craig.
Scott.
Hey, Scott.
Hi, Chris. You all right?
Yeah, good, mate.
Chris, a lot of what you're kind of talking about there in terms of the togetherness of the squad and the togetherness with the fans and the kind of buy-in from the town, it sounds a lot from the outside of things that were identified of real strengths of your team and your kind of era at Sheffield United. I mean, do you see those parallels? And are there things that you actively try to generate at a football club wherever you are?
I've tried to do it when I was 22 and being involved with my pals' Sunday League team. I think it's hugely important. It makes no difference whatever level you're playing at, whatever team. You have to have that togetherness. You have, it's team sport. You have to rely on each other. You have to trust each other. You got to believe in each other. You got to believe in what the manager, the coaches are doing. Everything it is a together outfit. I don't see any team that's done anything that's achieved it individually. And if it's good enough for the likes of Man City, which I know it is, because I know inside of that building through people that I know and what it's about and what the top guys try to generate. Whether it's Alex Ferguson, whether it's Pep Guardiola, whether it's Jurgen Klopp, what they try to generate. It's not fluke. It's not luck. You've got to work at it. There's certain things you've got to have in that building. There's certain attitudes that you've got to have towards each other, towards a plan, a structure, and as well, an attitude towards disappointment as well is huge. How you recover from that as well. So something that, and we're all trying to be successful. I'm sat here. I want Middlesbrough to be a successful football club. We all want that. Everybody, as shown, and as I said, 9,000 tickets sold in an heartbeat. That everybody's got a huge desire and enthusiasm and hunger for the football club, and me included, and the owner included. So everybody included in that. So in that. It's something that we have to work towards, and these different characters in an organisation, which is something that happens and is part of life. But we all have to have one goal and pull in the same direction. And if that happens, it gives anybody half a chance of being successful.
I was just going to ask a question as well about goalkeepers, because I think when you first came in, there was maybe a feeling that goalkeeper might be an area that would look to change in January. And I think you actually said quite early on, look, it's up to the lads that are here now to prove to me that I don't need to do that. So far, you haven't. So is it safe to say that they've kind of delivered what you wanted them to deliver, the ones that are here now and doing well for you?
Yeah, they have to, but everybody, there has to be that level of competition. There has to be that level of fear that I've got to keep producing performances. Not that it affects your performance, but there has to be. There's nobody set in stone in that team. There's nobody. I don't see anybody that, you know, oh, he's going to get a game, he's going to get a game. They all have to prove and fight and do whatever they have to do from a Monday to Friday, from a Saturday or Monday night, whatever time the game's on. They are always, you know, there's always an opportunity to impress, and they always have to deliver. Nobody can take the foot off the gas. It's something that's the way forward, and that's in every position. We have to have that competition, and if anybody dips or anybody thinks they can coast through it, you know, they get found out, and we get found out as a team. So it's something that I'm really keen on, and competition for places, the attitude of the group. So, you know, obviously I made a decision to bring Joe in. Luke's attitude has been great. Sol has come back, and so we've got three good goalkeepers, but they understand as much as anything that, you know, they've got to keep their form at the highest level, to cement or keep going the form that they're in, to, you know, to make it easier for us. I don't want to make a load of changes, but changes that we have made to make us stronger, and people have got to recognise that, you know, form is key, and they've got to keep on top of their game. And I've got to say, I think Joe has generally not had an awful lot to do in front of him. I think the structure of the team, especially the back three and the back five, have defended very, very well. The goals that we've conceded, I would say possibly the Swansea game, where we came under a little bit of pressure second half. The majority of work that we've had is maybe with the ball and going forward. So he's, I'd say, testament to the boys in front of him that really the work that he's had to do is minimal, but I've got to say everything he has done, he's been very, very good. And
just the last one for me, Josh Coburn, obviously, you know, there's been there's two thought processes, isn't there? One, that he would benefit from staying as part of the group and training in the second half of the season and coming on. Secondly, that a loan might work best for him.
He's our captain, Scott. He's a captain. I can't let a captain go out on loan. I can't do that. Are you nuts?
That's a fair point.
Hey, you want Jordan Henderson's not going out on loan, is he? Jordan Henderson's not going out on loan to League One, is he?
No, I suspect he's not. He's Josh.
He's our captain.
Dale Fry mentioned the change in mentality at the club on Thursday. Borough were incredibly inconsistent before you arrived. How have you kind of brought about that consistency? Is it to do with the togetherness that you mentioned earlier? Well,
you win games, it makes it easier, but I think we all know that we have to show that consistency in attitude as well. So, as we've talked about length today, you know, it's about the group, it's about being together. You know, it's about, you know, helping your pal out, but you at the same time doing your job and making sure that that you're doing your job to the best of your ability as well. So, we're after that. I think you got to be consistent in so many aspects of the game if you want to win games of football at this level. So we have won games of football this level. So there has been, you know, a consistency in quite a lot of things. Play has been generally very, very good. We've defended, you know, well as a team, and we've attacked well, and we've produced individual moments. And, you know, and when we've been under the cosh, we've been really together, and we've shown really good qualities from a team perspective, which we're going to have to show on Monday night, on Saturday, because you're basically not going to get it your own way in the next 20, 21 games or whatever main games it is. You know, they're they're the times. Good players will produce performances, you know, in adverse situations as well as good situations. You know, it's quite easy. Keep saying it, when the sun's shining and you're 2-0 up and you're in good nick and you're in good form and everything's going for you. Your test is when it isn't. You're under it a little bit and you have to do something to get yourself out of an hole. And the boys have done that. The boys have shown the other side of it as well. And we're going to have to show a lot of qualities in a lot of aspects of the game between now and the end of the season if we want to keep it alive.